Welcome, War Gamers. This is War General T coming to you with his next battle report. It's Bretonnia Vs Lizardman, 1500 points. It's our summer league at the shop. We're right in the middle of the 1500 point level. I didn't get around to the other levels, so this is my first one, taking pictures, trying out some new tactics and things, and hope you enjoy. And here's the battlefield from my perspective over to his, and we've rolled off for media engagements number 5, just like the last bat rep, and same setup. So I'll try to get some other battle setups for the future, I'm sure, but this is the setup after all deployments. Alright, and here's my left flank. Got a unit of Pegasus Knights up on the rocks there, to the far left. And down below at the bottom, a unit of Knights of the Realm with 2 Paladins. One Paladin is the BSB, and the other Paladin has a Sword of Anti-Heroes, which unfortunately doesn't come into play in this game. And then next to them, there's a unit of Men of Arms, 25. Protecting the 14 archers up there behind defensive stakes. And of course down the bottom right corner you see the trebuchet, the arrow pointing to where it would have been. As you've seen in the last image, use the also back in that corner there, so now behind all the protective wall, these guys up front. And here on my right flank I have another unit of Knights of the Realm, who has my Lord as the General, the Dragon Helm. And I got my level 2 Damsel of the Lady. Of course I picked Shadow with this. Unfortunately, after looking back at the regs and the rules for the book, beasts in life are only allowed apparently by the Damsel, so unfortunately my opponent let me go with it. He didn't say anything, of course. I didn't know. I just learned that afterwards, so I'll be using that for next time. And next to them, I got a small unit of 6 Knights of the Realm. And I put them both on this side to take care of those warriors ahead, especially that big block there on the far right. I decided to wanted to hold them up with my 6-man, wipe out the rest of his army, and hopefully come down eventually and get them. So that's my flank. Alright, and this is my opponent, Lizardman. This is his left flank. Right here we got the Saurus Warriors. Block of 24, I believe. Let me look here. Get the list. Okay. Yep, 24. Then you got Unit 10 Chameleon Skinks in between another warrior unit, and that's his left flank. And on his right flank here, we got a unit of 2 units of salamanders within the woods, ready to pounce on my army. Then with a small unit of chameleon skinks up on the rocks there, followed by Tedo Echo. I believe that's how you say it. Of course, I'm not sure myself. And that's his level 2, right at the top there. And since this is Vanguard, I got all my units in, and he rolled for all his units except for Old Blood on a Connoisseur, which will come in on this turn. And you'll see in the following pictures, he has to be held in reserve. Here we go. We rolled for Vanguard. Since we both had Vanguard units, I won the Vanguard, and I won first Vanguard. So I moved my Pegasus Knights here up as to that position, hopefully getting some sort of charge on some of them. They don't move or wherever they move to. Then on this side, his Vanguard movements, he rolls and gets 3 units able to be moved for Vanguard due to his old is Teto Echo rules, the old ones. So his 2 salamander units move up through or his unit of salamanders move through the woods up, then his warriors, and then the skinks. And that would conclude all the vanguard moves. And here we are, the Lizardman turn 1. He chooses to move his Teto Echo up out of my charge arc, facing towards me, and into the realm down there at the bottom. Then his skinks move up onto in front of me around the building. Then on this one, after his magic phase, this would have been shooting phase. He does a wound on those skinks shoot at my peg knights, causing 3 wounds. But I pass all armor saves at this time, so that will be, of course, in the following movement and shooting phase. But I will show you on this picture here. And then here we are in the center of his army. His warriors move up, his salamander unit moves up, and the skinks move up, getting closer to my army. And then his warriors kind of angle off towards the small unit of Knights of the Realm. And here comes his dinosaur, his old one on Connoisseur, arriving on the battlefield. Alright, here we are at the Lizardman's Magic, turn 1. He rolls, he gets 4 dice, and I get 3, no channels either way. Then he shoots off his Orion's Thunderbolt at my Knights of the Realm. He rolls an 18 here with his level 2. Unfortunately, I try with my 3 dice and I don't make the dispel, so it goes off. And then here's the result. 2 of my Knights of the Realm, unfortunately, do not. Actually, he gets 4 wounds on me. I get 2 saves, 2 armor saves, and fail 2 award saves. So 2 Knights of the Realm die. Alright, and then over here, while his shooting phase, like I said back in the previous image, his skinks shoot at my Pegasus Knights and do their shooting, and this skink unit shoots at my Knights of the Realm here. And then you do a few wounds, pass a couple, and unfortunately I fail 1, so 1 Knight of the Realm has perished. Then we go to the Salamander unit. The first one gets his flame off into my unit, and the other one also adding a few more for a total of about 12 guys. So I roll and pass 4, and fortunately, as you'll see here in a moment. And this is the result of those flames. 8 of my men of arms have perished. So at first I did my panic. I was going to flee. Then all of a sudden I remembered I was with my BSB range right there, so I get to re-roll. And then I pass my leadership. And then over there is my leadership, and those 2 dice. Number 4 is my re-roll. So I was able to stay right where I was. And on this turn, unfortunately, no one was in combat, so we had no combat, and we went on to Bretonnia turn 1. Then here we are at Bretonnia turn 1. So for my first turn, my Knights of the Realm there, he makes a charge on the Teto Echo, which he chooses to flee. So he fled probably a couple inches, I believe. And then with my movement and charge range, I needed 11 in order to sweep him out, to overrun him pretty much and wipe him out. So on my 3 dice, I get 11 right on into him. So the result will be here. And here's that result of the charge. As you can see, Tedo Explode is gone. Of course, I think I over-measured my guys. I shouldn't have moved that far, but whatever. They're further back. So they wiped his level 2 on my Brit turn 1. And also, for continue on with charges, the Peg Knights there, they charge into the Skinks, and of course, they make it. So they're in. Then we continue on to the other charges. We got the 6-man Knights of the Realm. They charge to the big block of warriors, and they make their charge. Okay, and this is my center, my men of arms. I just let them stay there. Of course, I should have done a little bit maneuvering with them because of what's coming up later. And my archers are behind the defensive stakes. Then my other unit of Knights of the Realm, they charge into the Skinks by the woods there, and they get a standard, the Skinks stand and shoot, I believe, of my Knights of the Realm there. Do a few wounds, and I unfortunately failed 2 of them. So as you can see there, 2 of my Knights of the Realm have died from the stand and shoot. Now on to Brit Magic turn 1. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, I kind of forgot that Brits couldn't take, or I didn't know at the time that Brits couldn't take anything else besides beasts and life. So of course I'll be using those from now on, but of course we kept on using the shadow, as you'll find out after next turn why it didn't really matter. But so we go to Brit Magic 1, turn 1. I roll, I get 9 dice to his 5 spell. We both don't get channels. So with my big Pit of Shades, I decided to go 6 dice with that. Try to get 1 more dice up on him on it. So here's my 6 dice I roll for Pit of Shades. I get 26, 3 5s, a 6, a 2, a 1, and my level 2, for a total of 26. He tries to dispel with all 5 of his dice in order to get the 2 6s. Unfortunately, he only gets 1 6. So with that, for the spell, you need to roll a scatter dice. I was going to go for the bigger one. I went for the big round temple. It was 2d6 scatter. Fortunately, it was a direct hit, as you can see with the dice. So the spell went off. No irresistible force, and it was a direct hit. So as you see in the next image, what the outcome was of that. And then with my last 3 dice, and since he had no dispel dice, I rolled on my other spell of Enabling Foe on the Skinks by the woods, which goes off, and then I roll my d3 for their strength to go down, which goes down by 1 to a strength 2. And that is my magic phase, and we'll go to the results. And here's the results of his initiative test. With the big dice, we counted up 17 guys that were under, so he rolled for 17, and he gets 4 1s. Unfortunately, he fails 13. 13 warriors plunge into the winds of magic. Wish there would have been a few more. He does his panic test. He had to have passed because he just stayed there. So he stayed, and it's unfortunate to continue on with the game. Let's see here. Anything else? Nope. And continuing on, we're over here in combat now. Actually, not. Kind of go with shooting here first. It's kind of off screen. My trebuchet had attempted to shoot at those salamander units. However, the bounce goes off, so they totally missed them. So the archers shoot at the salamanders, killing the one or two of the skink commander controllers. And then we go on to combat. Here's the first combat with the Peg Knights and the 10 skinks. They kill 6, and then the skinks attack back, giving me 1 wound. So with that result, the skinks flee 7 inches. I attempt to also pursue, and what did you know? I roll 3 1s. On 3 dice, I had 3 1s. Wow. So of course they're still alive. Unfortunately, well, they won't be too long. Alright, and here we go in this combat. We got my unit of Knights of the Realm against the Skinks by the woods. With my attacks, I kill 5. They attack back, causing no wounds. So they flee into the woods. I restrain myself and just do a reform. So those warriors there, and also the dinosaur that's coming up to the left there, I had some other targets to go after, so I just did a reform. Alright, and finally over to this combat with the big unit. I got my 6 Knights of the Realm against the warriors. I kill one of them. He kills 2 of mine. With all the combat res and all that added up, I failed. So I have to do a leadership test. I do my test, and I stay. I pass it. So they stay where they are, just like this. Alright, this image kind of goes into the last one there, or the last round actually, where the skinks there are fleeing from the Pegasus Knights. Then we go on to the Legions of Men turn 2. And that's that flank. We'll go on to the next one. And here's the center. His salamanders move up. His skinks had rallied in the woods there. And then his dinosaur, connoisseur, decides to move up next to the skinks there for his movements. There's no charges from him. And no magic, because his wizard has died with the last round. So we'll go on to shooting. First part of shooting is pretty much only the salamanders. His one guy gets one off, his others doesn't. So it's just one flame attack against my man of arms. They get 7 kills out of the potential saves I attempted, armor and ward saves. So 7 of those guys have died. Go off to combat phase for Lizardman. I do it attacks to him. Unfortunately, I don't get any wounds on him. Or if I think I probably maybe got 2 or 3, but of course he saved those. Then he attacks me back, killing 2, 4, 6, 7 of my guys. Unfortunately, I have to take a leadership test. I fail. I probably go about 4 inches. He goes well over that and overruns me and wipes my archer unit out. Then we are on to Bretonnia's turn 2. I declare a charge on the skinks there. They flee a couple more inches. So with the distance, I needed 11 on my dice. And as you can see there, I roll my 11 to make it within, I believe, half an inch through those guys. So in order to wipe them out, I need about 10 and a half or something like that, but then I got 11, so I wiped that unit of skinks out and they are dead.
So in the center here, my man-at-arms, I declare a charge against the salamander unit. He flees with that unit, so I just do a reform, do a test, pass, and just reform my guys to face the warriors that have gone by, taking out my archers, so they have something to go after. And we go on to Knights of the Realm here. They move out of the range of the charge arc on the Carnosaur Old Blood towards that woods there. And then on to Magic. I got pictures a little out of order, but we'll stay here for a moment and go to shooting. In the shooting phase there, I shoot my trebuchet at the Carnosaur Old Blood. Unfortunately, I get the hit. I roll the dice, and it's a direct hit. Strength 10 on the Old Blood, Strength 5 on the Rider and the Mount. So in order to roll, I needed a 2 or up, right? Guess what I roll? A 1. My first one. I'll tell you later, but Strength 10, I roll a 1. Bang! What a miss. Of course, then I do the Strength 5. They do about 1 wound. He saves that. So we continue on to Magic. And with Magic, I had my 3 dice to his 2. So I decided to go Pit of Shades first. The only one I could use on the Salamander to get rid of them. So I decided to use all 3. I know I needed something to get at least 12 or higher. So I rolled my 3, and I got 2 6s. 2 6s for the irresistible force. So Pit goes off again on the Salamanders. And then, of course, which kills the rest of the skinks that were behind them. And after that is done, I roll. I'm on the chart to get a 10. So I have to roll the D3 for the lost levels and spells. And unfortunately, I lose all my levels. And now my damsel is a normal lady. So I've just lost my magic phase at the end of turn 2. For Bretonnian's close combat phase, the only one was this small unit of Knights of the Realm against the Warriors. So with my attacks, I get 1 kill again. Ah, come on, Knights, you can get more kills than that. Hopefully. Anyways, so with that, and then his attacks back, and my attempts to armor saves, ward saves, 2 die. And then my leadership test, I needed combat res, I believe it was like a 5. 4 or 5, something like that. So here's my roll. 3. Still in it. Still holding his unit up. And I still got 2 guys alive. So that's what I was hoping for all along, to keep that unit there as much as possible, so I can take care of these other units. And now we are off to Lizardman's turn 3. For his first movement here in this flank, he decides to, those skinks that were in the woods, to conga line them out of the woods, heading towards the edge of the battlefield. So this is the movement over here. Alright, there's the conga line and another view of the conga line. Actually, this picture will be kind of pretty much for the whole Lizardman's turn, because the Carnosaur up there, he moved up over the wall. That's your Salamanders fleeing. And then we move on to no magic, because he doesn't have a spellcaster, he doesn't have any shooting, because nobody's to shoot at. Then we go to the combat, where the warriors they killed off the last 2 Knights of the Realm. So that 6-man unit is now gone, and the warriors are partly in the woods and partly out.
here we go. We are on to Brett's turn 3. So with the connoisseur there, hopefully I decided with my small man of arms that are left, I decided to go into the connoisseur, see what they can do. They charge and they make it in. In this image here, it's kind of it's multi-purpose because it's a couple turn, might be the next turn or whatever. But showing this turn, my Knights of the Realm there, they turned around, marched back towards the center of the field. You can see the Salamanders; they're still fleeing on their next turn there. That'll be turn 4. Then we go off to magic. So unfortunately I have no magic. I lost it last turn. So there's no magic for Brits. Then we go on to shooting. The trebuchet that was in the back corner, he tries to shoot at the cold one, the warriors there. So I roll, get my hit. I roll for the strength, for the wounds, and I get a 1 again. A 1! Darn you, strength 10. Oh, I'm going to have a word with those trebuchet commanders or something. Anyways, strength 5, they get some hits and get 1 kill there with the strength 5. And unfortunately, there's no combat at this point because nobody's in contact. So we continue on to Lizardman's turn 4. And then for Lizardman's turn 4, they decided the 5 warriors that were still left that wiped out my archers, they make it within the distance and charge my trebuchet, doing a lot of wounds, and I needed at least enough to keep 1 guy alive. Hopefully they'll pursue, is what I was hoping for. And then with my knights that were threatening, that he felt threatened, so he decided to move his connoisseur back. Of course, this is another image, multi-turns and whatnot. Then the skink unit there, he's still conga lining out into nowhere. So also at this point, there's no magic for Lizardman, and no shooting for Lizardman, and no combat. Oh wait, no, yeah, wait, there's 1 combat, so hold on. Alright, here's the combat. We got the 5 warriors on him. Of course, he was fleeing. You know, the wounds, as you saw earlier, those were the wounds. So my guy was fleeing here. He fled 4 inches and he tried to pursue, and he only went 2 inches. So my 1 guy there, after that combat from that previous image, he's still alive, and the warriors are still pursuing. So with that, we go on to Brit turn 4. And here we are at Brit turn 4. It's kind of the image you saw a couple times back, where my smaller unit of Knights of the Realm, they moved there in the center towards the warriors. So I could probably take them on or move around to take the connoisseur or the warriors that are coming up. And then my bigger Knights of the Realm, they make a march up. My Pegasus, they fly around to the woods there. And his last turn, those salamanders were moving up, or turned towards the woods and moved into them. So with that, of course, I have no magic. I lost my treb, so I have no shooting. And nobody is in combat. So as you can tell here at the end, things started going a little bit faster because everything was dying the first 2 rounds or getting combat killed out. And so we could go on to Lizardman turn 5. And here we are, Lizardman's turn 5. Of course, he's tries to rally the salamander unit. Unfortunately, that fails, so they
continue fleeing off out of the building. So there was two. He rolls, and as you can tell, one dies. Now it's down to one salamander, and he's still fleeing. And then for the old one on the connoisseur, he charges into my Knights of the Realm there in the center. He makes it, passes the terrain, passes over it, and passes going through it. So of course, with no magic, there's no magic for the Lizardman, no shooting, they have nothing to shoot at. Go on to the next, continue some more movement. Here's that more movement up there. The warriors have moved through the woods and they're into the woods. So this is another picture that kind of suits a dual purpose. So we go on to the combat where the connoisseur, he had charged in my flank, killing two of my guys. After all combat was said and done, I was able to pass the test. I believe I had a reroll also on this again, but luckily my BSB was there, so now I can have my front rank there facing him. Let's see here. Oh yeah, with that tax there. So that's it for that turn actually. No, actually my general, he had attacked my general prior. And of course I don't get any wounds on him this turn. He doesn't get any on me. No, he did get one on me, but then of course I had the arm stand. It's kind of hard when you trying to remember who's doing wounds on who and who has to do the saves and whatnot. But pretty sure it's something like that. At least one wound got through, but we both saved them, so we'll say that. Continuing on. And here we are at Brett turn 5. So with my turn, I charge my Pegasus unit into the flank of his connoisseur, old one. And then, of course, my little knights are still there. So we'll also go no magic for us, no shooting for us. So we're right into combat along with this image, kind of. So we can go on to the next. So this is part of the combat and results of combat. I do 2 wounds on him, one in the general, one on the connoisseur, I believe. Then, yep. Then of course, my general tries to attack the old one, fails to wound any kind of wound on him. Oh, my general is just not doing it. Lord, he can't do a thing these last 2 rounds. So, yeah, that ends for combat like that. And then we go on to 6. And here we are at Lizardman's turn 6, where we have the warriors that are in the woods that are moving up. 5 warriors that took out the trebuchet that are back at the bottom corner there. You can see the green arrow. They're marching up towards us. And that's it for prior to some of these marches. As you can see there, we had to do a rally, and his lonely salamander here has rallied in the far corner of the table out of anyone's kind of march or shooting or whatever. So he's there all alone. Then we're back here at the combat in the center of the field. So my attacks on the old blood doesn't do anything there because this is Lizardman's combat phase. So he doesn't. My lord does not do any wounds or anything. Again, fortunately the pegs get a couple wounds there, a wound or 2 on the dinosaur before they biff it. Then my knights are still there on their leadership there with the rear rolls. And first rolls were 2 5s, of course. But then with combat res and all this, which was failed. But then my BSB is right there, so I re-rolled again,
and Snake Eyes. Oh man, my rolls have been good at points in this game. So that is Lizardman's combat, and we go on to Brett turn 6. Here we are, Brett turn 6. We have my bigger knights in the realm, they move up. Of course, if there were more rounds, they could do a charge, but unfortunately, this is my turn, bottom of 6. So there's no magic, no shooting. Now with that, we go into combat. And here we are in combat with the results. Luckily, finally, my lord, he does something. He does enough wounds to his general and kills him. Oh, finally, do kill the general. Of course, he does 1 wound back on my general, and of course, he does like 2 wounds. I has armor save on, and I attempt to ward save. The other one and don't get that, so I'm 1 wound on him. And then with combat res, it was pretty much a tie, but with my musician still there, and the +1, he does his leadership test. He stays. Lucky Dino stays. If only he would have fled, I could have pursued and probably wiped him out and won the game. Unfortunately, with that dinosaur still there, with that result, as you can tell, this is the end. The victors goes to the Lizardmen. They won the battle. Go Lizardmen. With all the points we figured out, it came to Lizardmen had won by 142 points. As you can see, I had my 2 units, Knights of the Realm. I had my characters in there, and they were all added up to points. And so with that, he had a unit of 3 skinks left. He has big block warriors, 5 warriors there, and then just the connoisseur. The old one was dead, and then 1 salamander. If that 1 salamander had died or fled off the board, that would have been the game changer. Or if the connoisseur would have fled, I could have pursued and wiped him out. That would have been a game changer. Or unfortunately, somehow got into those 5 guys. But those are the ifs of this game. The dice roll and everything. That's how it happens. So with this battle report, I'd like to thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. You are more than welcome to make comments, suggestions, or whatever things you want to say about the game or things that are coming up. But I know that as we are trying to learn games, there's always margin of error. So bear with me, and I'll bear with you. With that, I'd like to thank you for watching again, and hope you have good games at your shops. Take care.